Okay, friends, crazy news. I'm not going to share it with you till an invoice hits, but it does involve a trip out to San Francisco to Mountain View, Santa Clara kind of area, which is exciting in March. But right now it's 2:13 in the morning. We're at Amazon third shift. We have to move these cones, and we got to practice for our keynote. I've been practicing this for about 100 days. I'm flying out to Switzerland in 8 days, I think. Oh my God. So we got about one third of it written. We're going to run it from top to bottom again. And today I want to specifically work on tone and pacing. Yesterday was the first dry read through it. So I've been listening to it over and over again. Like I really want to spend some time on pauses and pacing. So let's just jump in. And this is to help me prep, help you get a little bit of exposure to what I'm doing out here. And if you want to connect with me out in Switzerland, there'll be a link to join the event at health.tech. There are literally going to be 5,000 folks there across startups, strategics, in both pharma and medtech spaces, policymakers, regulatory, all kinds of fun stuff. So you should be out there. It'll be cool. If you're part of the LSI crowd, this will give you a different flavor, different side of the same coin, right? So let's jump in. Take a deep breath. Bum, 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 bum. A shift in tone, not quite closure, but an indication to pay close attention. Nobody plans on hitting zero, and they definitely don't plan on hitting zero in a foreign country with 4 kids. Our family navigated 12 relocations over the course of 1 year to get to Japan. A 13th relocation to continue life in Japan after a messy exit from a decade-long career in surgical robotics at Johnson & Johnson. And after only 7 months of all-in entrepreneurship, we faced an impossible 14th relocation as our revenue failed to exceed our high expat burn rate. I still admire the courage of my wife, who stood against me, helping me face the reality of either going bankrupt in Tokyo or navigating the scorched earth relocation back to our hometown in Chicago. At a total loss, I remember asking Felicia, show me how the hell we can move to Chicago with no jobs, no cash flow, and no corporate relocation support. And in just 20 days, she showed me. We pulled our kids from international school mid-term, which was brutal, said goodbye to some of the most meaningful friendships we had ever built, packed out our entire life into a sea shipment container, sailing across the Pacific Ocean. And on Halloween Eve, 2024, I found myself surrounded by my family on a failure plane to Chicago, wondering what comes next. I want to establish that today's discussion isn't about me. It's not even about you. It's about a female colorectal surgeon in Osaka who struggles to safely articulate and fire a powered stapler because it wasn't designed with her small hand size and grip strength in mind. It's about an 82-year-old Oba-chan, her grandmother in Kyoto, coughing up blood on the table during an interventional bronchoscopy biopsy as she's navigating late-stage thoracic cancer and multiple comorbidities. It's about a veteran surgeon in Okayama who's struggled to adopt a robotic, or who's failed to adopt a robotic surgical approach to his liver resections because the steep learning curve and unfamiliar instrumentation gives him concerns around excessive blood loss during his procedures. It's about a 52-year-old husband and father in Nagano who hoped to wake up from anesthesia free of colorectal cancer, but after an 11-hour procedure plagued by complications, discovered a stoma bag protruding from his abdomen, forever changing the way he'll navigate the restroom for the remainder of his life. It's about how far we're willing to go to hear the voice of marginalized clinicians and the patients they're so desperate to serve. It's about the risks we're willing to take to challenge the status quo and progress meaningful innovation on their behalf. But most importantly, and selfishly, today provides me an opportunity to geek out on surgical robotics and explore the wonderful ways we can cut folks up and ideally put them back together again. So let's sit up, take a deep breath, and get to work. This. So I'd walk over to the right side of the stage and do the same tone. Bum, 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 bum. Hold that bumps out a little longer. It's too fast. They're probably going to bomb. So be like, it's okay. I know you're tired after lunch. Let's see if the other side of the room's a bit more awake. Walk to the other side. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. That's good progress. Walk to the middle of the room. All right, everybody, all together. Mina-sama. Bum, 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 bum. Ah, what a beautiful harmony. A little pitchy in the back, but that's okay. We can work on that. But it still brings me straight back to the tissue lab, where I've heard that tone tens of thousands of times, singing in sweet symphony with the sizzle, carotid arteries, jejunum, and mesentery, and other lovely bovine tissue. Now, I know some of you might think that's nasty, but every time we make Japanese curry, I break down about 3 kilograms of pork shoulder and sear it before braising it in a rich dashi for hours. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Japanese cuisine, a dashi is a broth made from shaved, dried tuna flakes, bonito, to give the meat umami, or depth of flavor. During the first stage of searing the pork shoulder, the smell of charred fat and muscle also brings me back to the tissue lab. It's inevitable. So, if you'd be willing to indulge a pretentious engineer who's feeling a bit nostalgic about their time at J&J, what I'm about to show you is raw surgical footage. So if this kind of stuff grosses you out, then look away right now. Play the video right now. This is one of my favorite instruments, the Harmonic Ace Plus 7. Roughly the width of a pencil, this tool can manipulate and cut different tissue with a high level of precision. In this hysterectomy, a large ligament is being transected to safely remove the cervix, a life-changing procedure. When I first saw this instrument, I was completely perplexed as to how it worked. Naturally, my curiosity got the best of me, and I started exploring this tech outside my normal day job. I sought wisdom from the engineering fellows who originally developed this technology. I went to the lab and started playing around with the power settings of a generator to see if I could get Harmonic to cook tissue in new ways. I fiddled, I tinkered, and I ultimately discovered that Harmonic is not unlike a guitar string. When you pluck a guitar string, it creates a distinct sound wave that vibrates at resonance. At Johnson & Johnson, we send a distinct sound wave through a long, thin titanium blade so the tip can vibrate at resonance, like a guitar string. When you bring this blade tip in contact with tissue, the friction creates immense amounts of heat. The water evaporates, the proteins cross-link and get sticky, so we can seal and cut tissue without bleeding. This is what excites me, and you'll find me dabbling where crazy technologies are transforming the standard of care in surgery. But you likely have questions. Joe, that vibrating stick is awesome, but what does this have to do with hitting zero in Tokyo as an entrepreneur? Or again, Joe, cool vibrating stick, but you promised robots. What's up with that weird tone you keep making us sing? But I'm sure the majority of you are left deeply questioning, what is the recipe for my Japanese curry? So here it is. I'll have a QR code behind me. Seriously, I'll wait. You can scan it. What's that? But seriously, I'll wait. You can scan it. And if you leave today taking away nothing else but this recipe, then I'll know I changed your life forever. A shift in tone, not quite closure, but an indication to pay close attention. There's one more layer of engineering magic that makes Harmonic sing. Let me show you. I'm going to play a clip of the video of the instrument actually cutting tissue with the tone that occurs naturally. The interplay between an electromechanical system, tissue variability, and user discernment, the surgeon, creates many potential clinical failures. If a clinician believes that they've completed a transection and opens the jaws prematurely while activated, a vascular structure could hemorrhage, leading to blood flow outside the field of view and potentially death. If a clinician is overly conservative and continues to activate well beyond the completion of the transection, the vibrating titanium blade can eventually burn through a Teflon pad, creating metal-on-metal contact with the clamp arm, eventually leading to tips breaking off in the patient. Now, titanium is inert, but it does cause delays for attempting to retrieve the tip. That shift in tone you hear provides an indication for surgeons to pay close attention. It's not quite closure or completion of the cut, but it's almost there. And if you knew the sheer amount of hours and tissue transections necessary to train a neural network to predict said tone, you'd be humbled, as I was many times in the lab. But even with all this work, what if I told you it wasn't good enough? Well, not good enough for some regions, like Japan. While many aspects of ACE+7 were informed by Japanese clinicians, such as its curved taper blade geometry for blunt dissection, Japanese surgeons still weren't satisfied with its performance. We also experienced disproportionately high amounts of complaints and pad burn flu failures from Japan. But why? More on that to come. But before we get there, let's zoom way out and look at the history of surgery. So yes, we're getting to robots. All right, dude, that's pretty solid. It's only coming in 11 minutes. It gives us about 18 more minutes to work with to get into the meat of robotics, the arc of my career, the path to Japan, and then kind of the resolution and landing on this audacity to ask, which is curious. But I gotta get back to work. We got the cone set. We're safe, which is exciting. And I'm gonna go pick some routes, help the team, and keep changing the world, y'all. Excited.